With millions of species on Earth, you'd think we've pretty much seen it all. We know our lions, our tigers, our bears, but our planet is this vast cabinet of curiosities, and honestly, some of its drawers have been shut for a very, very long time. Today, we're going to pry a few of them open.
And that's so true, isn't it? I mean, if you're a nature lover, you've probably watched countless documentaries. But every now and then, you stumble upon a creature that is so bizarre, so completely unexpected, it just rewrites everything you thought you knew about the animal kingdom.
I hope so, because we are about to dive into some of the planet's best-kept secrets. And trust me, these are not your everyday backyard animals.
So, let's start small, really small, in the world of insects. This is a realm where, even today, scientists are finding creatures that just defy belief.
Okay, take a good look here. At first glance, yeah, it's an ant. But wait a second. Look closer. Something's not quite right, is it? That dark little blob on its back? Well, that's not part of the ant at all. The answer is the Nymphister Beetle, a total master of deception that was only just described back in 2017. This is an insect that's so perfectly adapted to its host, it basically becomes invisible.
And the way this beetle pulls this off is just incredible. So as night falls, it finds an army ant, clamps onto its waist with its mouthparts, and just hitches a ride. It's the perfect size and shape, and its disguise is so flawless, it even copies the ant's chemical scent, that other ants will actually groom the beetle, thinking it's just the rear end of their nestmate. It is the ultimate freeloader.
All right, let's move to our next specimen. This is an insect that takes camouflage to a whole new level, not by changing its color, but through its absolutely unbelievable shape.
Yep, this is the violin beetle, and honestly, it looks less like an insect and more like a little piece of modern art. Its body is impossibly thin and flat with these wide, almost see-through flares that give it that classic violin shape. And this isn't just for looks, it allows it to disappear by sliding into the tightest cracks under tree bark, hiding from anything that might want to eat it.
Okay, time to leave the insects behind and crawl into the world of reptiles and amphibians. This is where evolution has cooked up some truly genius and kind of weird survival tactics.
Now, before we meet our next animal, you need to know a key term: phragmosis. It sounds complicated, but it's basically the act of using your own head as a living door. I know, it's a brilliant, if not slightly extreme, way to defend yourself.
And here it is, the Yucatan cask-headed tree frog. Get this, the skin on its head is literally fused to its skull, creating this hard, bony casque. So when things get dry or a predator shows up, it just backs into a hole in a tree and perfectly plugs the entrance with its head. It turns itself into a living fortress.
From a living door to a living legend, this is the dragon snake. And believe me, it absolutely lives up to its name. You'd find it in the swamps of Southeast Asia, and it looks like something straight out of mythology.
Just look at that skin. It's got these 3 rows of large, knobby scales that give it the exact texture you'd imagine on a dragon. But its looks aren't even the weirdest part. When this snake gets scared, it doesn't slither away or strike. It just freezes. It stiffens its entire body like a weird, scaly statue. A very peculiar defense mechanism.
All right, let's plunge deep beneath the surface. From the pitch-black darkness of isolated caves to the crushing pressure of the deep sea, water is where life gets truly, truly weird.
So, deep in the limestone caves of China, there's this whole group of fish called Cyninio lanoi. And while some of the species living near the surface look pretty normal, the ones that have adapted to permanent darkness, well, they're anything but.
Scientists have found over 70 species in this one genus alone. I mean, think about that. After living in total darkness for generations, many of them have lost their eyes and their color completely. And to make up for it, some have evolved these strange horn-like growths on their foreheads. And the purpose of those horns is still a complete mystery. Now we're going even deeper, way down into the twilight zone of the ocean, to meet a fish with what is arguably the most complex and bizarre visual system of any animal on the entire planet.
So this creature has solved the problem of watching for danger above and food below at the exact same time. It has 2 big, upward-facing eyes to catch any faint sunlight, but, and this is the wild part, attached to each of those is a second, downward-facing eye that doesn't use a lens. Nope. Instead, it uses a curved mirror, kind of like a tiny satellite dish, to focus light. It is the only vertebrate we know of that has evolved a mirror for vision. Just amazing.
Okay, let's come back to dry land and look at two classes of animals we think we know best: birds and mammals. But even here, I promise, there are some faces you are definitely not going to recognize.
First up, we've got a relative of the toucan from the Amazon. This is the curl-crested aracari. And yes, it looks exactly like it just came from the salon with a fresh perm.
The feathers on its head are completely unlike any other bird's. They're these shiny, black, curled-up things that have a texture people compare to curled plastic ribbon or even old cassette tape. And why does it have this hairdo? Honestly, we have no idea. Maybe it's for finding a mate, but for now, it's just one of nature's most stylish mysteries. And this one is a fantastic example of how looks can be really deceiving. For years, scientists looked at the Sunda stink badger, and, well, they put it with all the other badgers. Makes sense, right? But then genetics came along and told a totally different story. Turns out this animal's closest relatives are actually the skunks from North and South America. And yep, just like its cousins, it can spray a truly foul-smelling liquid when it feels threatened.
So, we've seen beetles that ride on ants, frogs with armored heads, fish that have mirrored eyes, and birds with perms. It really just makes you appreciate the sheer, completely unbridled creativity of evolution.
And really, that's the most exciting part, isn't it? These are just a tiny handful of the strange and surprising creatures that share our planet. It leaves you with this one final, really humbling thought. In all the unexplored forests, caves, and deep oceans of the world, what other hidden wonders are still out there just waiting to be found?